Skinwalkers. The Skinwalker of Native American legend takes various forms in their tribes, but most agree on what they look like. A misshapen animal body, a mangled face, and glowing red-orange eyes. The legend of the shape-shifting entity known as the Skinwalker has largely been relegated to the status of a hoax. After all, it's hard to believe in the idea of a humanoid figure that can transform into a four-legged animal and is terrorizing families all across the American Southwest. Skinwalkers are described as being mostly animals physically, even when in human form. As the Navajo English Dictionary explains, the Skinwalker has been translated from the Navajo, Yi Naudolushi. I probably butchered that. This literally means, by means of it, goes on all fours. The Pueblo, the Apache, and Hopi people also have their own legends involving the Skinwalkers. Little else is known about the supposed being, as the Navajo are reluctant to discuss it with outsiders, and often even with each other. Traditional belief says that talking about malevolent beings is not only bad luck, but also makes their appearance even more likely. Some traditions believe that skinwalkers are born from a benevolent healer who misuse indigenous magic for evil. The medicine man in this situation is usually given mythical powers of evil, which vary from one tradition to another, but the power that all traditions mention is the ability to become or possess an animal or person. Other traditions believe that a man, woman, or child can become a skinwalker if they commit severe taboo. They are reportedly almost impossible to kill, except with a bullet or a knife dipped in white ash. Although not scientific, the Navajo skinwalker has deep roots in Native American lore. The rest of America got its first taste of the Navajo legend in 1996 when the Desert News published an article titled Frequent Travelers. The story chronicled a Utah family's traumatic experience with the alleged creature that included cattle mutilations and disappearances, UFO sightings, and the appearance of crop circles. From Reddit, posted by Miss Monstrosity 8 years ago. Did I see a skinwalker? First of all, I'd like to apologize for any grammatical errors. I also don't spend much time on Reddit, so I have no clue if this is the right subreddit to post this in. But I know you guys know your shit, so I assume it's the best place to ask. Secondly, I only just recently learned what a skinwalker is, and I still don't know much about them, which is why I'd like other people's opinions. This happened in September of last year. We live on a huge horse farm in southern Kentucky. My mother, the horse fanatic in the family, travels all over the country taking out horses to shows and competitions. During that time, I usually get stuck at home with the responsibility of feeding the animals and other non-show horses. My parents were at a weekend-long show. It was around 5:30 p.m., and I was on my way down to the barn to give the horses their evening meal. Our horses are arranged into multiple sections: pregnant mares in one, show horses in another, etc., etc. Here's a screen cap from Google Earth of it to kind of give you guys an idea. I was almost done feeding, and only had the southwest corner section to go. When I looked into the field that lined the section that we let the horses graze in the spring, I saw something. Something that I really can't explain with words. It was far enough away that I couldn't make out facial features, but I could tell it wasn't human. It was standing upright. Two legs that seemed to be on backwards, instead of the knees going forward, and they went the opposite way. The closest thing I can describe it to would be a very thin, hairless horse standing up. I didn't notice any arms, but with how far away it is, I'm assuming they could have just been so close to the body that I didn't see them. I kind of doodled this to give you guys an idea of what it looked like. Here's the picture. It scared the hell out of me, but I don't think it saw me. It looked like it was watching my house, which was about 100 yards to the northwest of there. I kind of just stood there. I didn't really know what to do, so I just kind of slowly started backing up until I was back in the barn. There's a small part in the barn where there are a couple missing boards that you can easily see out of, so I stood there, watching it for a while. I didn't want to go back home because I was worried it would see me, so I just waited. I waited for what felt like forever, before this thing kind of just turned around and walked away into the woods. The way it walked was the scariest thing about it. It was just so unnatural. I waited a little bit, and then ran back to the house as quickly as I could. The next morning, my parents got home, so I didn't have to feed the horses again after that. I never told anyone about this either, but after discovering Skinwalkers, I'm wondering what you guys think. If not a Skinwalker, what else could it be? Edit. I've never seen it again after that, nor has anyone in my family ever mentioned seeing anything like it. From Reddit, posted by Unknown. My wife heard a Skinwalker in our house last night. Let me start off by saying that my wife doesn't believe in paranormal entities or anything of that nature. We have 3 cats, and one of them likes to be a rebel, jumping onto counters and meowing at the top of his lungs, just looking for attention. He does this throughout the night, and it's a regular occurrence. Last night, after a few beers and video games, I decided it was time to head to bed with my wife. When I woke up this morning, my wife was basically attached to me with wide eyes and a nervous look on her face. I asked her what was wrong, and she proceeded to tell me what happened last night. She said that around 2:50 in the morning, she was woken up to a noise that sounded like one of our cats downstairs meowing unusually loud. After giving herself a few seconds to perk up and fully pay attention, she said that the meows sounded more like a person trying to mimic a cat, and it kept saying, "Hello." After meowing for 2 to 3 minutes, a loud bang came at our door, and then a notification went off for a motion sensor at our front door. When she told me this, I checked my phone, and sure enough, there was a notification for motion detected at 2:52 a.m. I asked her why she didn't wake me up so I could grab my gun. She said she was frozen with fear and didn't want it to hear her make a noise. We're out running errands while I'm typing this, but something made me uncomfortable about her story. Last night, I set the home security alarm around 9 p.m., and we didn't turn it off till we walked the dog this morning. To make things worse, we had slept with all of the animals in the room, and the door was closed. So, whatever was in our house, or outside the front door, was not one of our animals. Obviously, the first thing that came to mind was a Skinwalker, but maybe I'm just being paranoid. I checked all the rooms in the house after I got up. I'm not sure what I could have done anyways. It's very odd that my wife was scared so badly by something she doesn't necessarily believe in. We bought this house brand new, so no one has lived here before. When I'm home alone, I do feel like I'm being watched, or someone's always walking directly behind me. My wife also said that the house has given her chills since we moved in. Something is just off about it. We just got home, and I went to hang up one of my shirts in the master bedroom closet when I noticed that the board that covers the attic access has been shifted a little. When I asked my wife about it, she said she's never been up there, and the builders would have placed it back in its original place before we made the purchase. I'm genuinely getting anxious just thinking about what could be going on. Has anyone had an experience like this? Or similar at least? We're going to my mother-in-law's to get some sage. My wife said burning it should keep whatever's around our house away. So, what do you guys think? Are Skinwalkers real? Or is it just our minds making us paranoid? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Good night.